What is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival 2025. This is episode number 39, and last episode, we spent the entire episode rebuilding the station here, as well as the snowstorm, getting it up in ship shape. And it's not quite in ship shape, but it's in a better state for sure. One of the other things that we did, of course, though, is set up the memorial over here, which I have one addition to do. In addition to I think the civilians, we have one extra one, and that would be the person who was in the crashed ship on the planet. We're gonna need to add one to this number here. So instead of 6, this is going to be number 7. Thank you to the people who mentioned that we had one missing, but here we go. We have this memorial. I actually want to make a couple other additions as well, and I think what we want to do is add some seating and add some plants. I think those are the big things. So let me run through here and do this. Actually, before we do this, off camera, I did do a little bit of welding. So I welded up a little bit of these blocks. I added these lights in as well, so we could start this episode with a nice, area that we can see. And as well as that, I connected the base over here. So if we go all the way back here, this is now connecting to the rest of the base. And if we do /BI for build info and then CN for conveyor network, we can see that this connects into that conveyor network there. I don't know what, oh, I added these little container and refuel station as well. And that connects down to all that stuff and all over to those as well. So the entire base is now connected. So let's go ahead and turn that off, and we can work from there, turning this into a refueling outpost as well as a trade base that we can get some NPCs walking around at. Once we have this lockdown taken down, we can even get some civilians walking around here if we can get some to come join us. I think that'd be kind of cool. But anyways, yes, first order of business, let's get the memorial in a better state, getting some seating in here as well as some plants. So let's go over here and grab some couches. All right, so we're gonna put a couch right here, I think. Do we want that? We really don't have a lot of plant options, but I think we're gonna go with plants on the side right here, and then we might do a couch right here. I think that would make a little bit of sense. So let's go couch, throw that right on this side over here. There we go, a nice little couch. And then we might do something similar here as well, where we go like a couch as well as a couch right there, and then we'll do plants behind them. Plants, just so that you can kind of see what was going on here. And then I think we might be good from there. I almost wonder if instead of this block right here, it would look better. Okay, our inventory's full. Let's do a couch here real quick. We can get rid of some of that stuff. I almost wonder if this would look better as this block right here. Let me see, would that look better? I don't know if that looks better. What do you guys think? All right, I do kind of like that actually. I think that's not bad. I almost wonder if I need to do the corners though now. And maybe something like this. I don't know, I'm just riffing here, but I think maybe that's not bad. Then let's get these built up. Let's get these plants here put in. And then we can see how that looks like with everything. All right, how is that? I think that's a lot better. We do have at least, some stuff in here now. I think that looks a lot better. Let's actually get this to be a darker color. Maybe like this, not that, but this, and then still the wood. There we go. I think that looks even better with a little bit of contrast between the wood of this and then the wood of that right there. But yeah, there is our memorial now, a little bit better, I think, a little bit better made. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to do the sides as well here. This in memoriam doesn't fit very well. You know what? I think we don't even need that. I think this is fine without that. And I think we're going to keep it like this. Just that. So there is our memorial, and I think what we're gonna do from here is we're gonna spend the first half of the episode working on the base here, trying to get this in a better shape, get this lockdown lifted. Currently it's in lockdown. It doesn't necessarily need to be. We have turrets, but there are turrets now. But we need to go through and repair some of this stuff, turn off these lights, maybe get some of this stuff in a better shape. Yeah, we need to clean this up a little bit, and yeah. But, and maybe get these rooms in a better shape as well. Actually, I expanded this a little bit because I expanded this so we can actually build rooms all the way down here if we want to, and that might not be a bad idea. Or we can build some other facility over there, like a little welding pit or something, I don't know. Maybe a welding pit's getting a little bit too much, but... So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start right here and we're gonna work our way inward, making this a little bit nicer. So this, for instance, definitely needs some lights because you can see it's very dark right here. So let's go ahead and add a couple of lights somewhere. I like the setup of this. I think this is good, and I think we'll keep it because if we have a station here, it would be nice to have some sort of like security entrance. Guards could be here and stuff like that. So we'll keep that there. But definitely we need to throw in some lights, and I'm thinking about where I want to put them. I think maybe right here and right here would make sense. What's that go into? That goes into nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna use our favorite inset lights. We're gonna toss them right here. I'll use the same color as the base here. We're gonna build them up. Right click, right click. Let's grab this stuff from this little connector over here. And let's go and get these inset lights built up. All right, very good. So let's go in here and we're gonna grab those. And for our security inset lights, I'm gonna give them a slightly blue look, vastly increase their radius and lower their intensity so they're not going crazy. And I think, let's see, that's not bad. That's a little bit welcoming, right? You come in here, it's kind of your security area, so you don't necessarily want it to be too welcoming. You just kind of want it to, you know, you want to be able to see what's going on. So let's go ahead and give everything a nice coat of paint over here. So all this stuff right here, I'm just gonna shift click and that should paint it all pretty well. And we'll do it on this side too, and on this side too as well. And you know what? Maybe I should be using my paint gun actually. Let me go in here and see if I have that. I don't think I took my paint gun with me, so let's go into production and let's go and make a new paint gun. So it's gonna be this one right here. It's gonna take half a second to build once we get all the blocks there. Never mind, it takes a long time to build. But the paint itself takes half a second to build. You'll see it's just gonna spam through that once it gets to that. Give it a second, and then, yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's grab our paint gun here. We'll toss that down here as one of our tools. Then we'll do Control P. Click on, nope, that didn't work. I thought Control P was supposed to, oh, there we go. Okay, that worked. We want to make it like a nice clean look. All right, and then over here, actually what we can do is we can make this a nice wooded, a wooded room, I think would be pretty good. I can go over to my wood color, which is right there, and then all the way down to my wood. Let's just get that in here. I think that would look good. Can't really do it with the bathroom, but I can do it with that at least. I would love to get the block under here, but, well, we could just destroy this for now and paint that and then put it back in. All right, so this is just like a little guard room, just a little area where guards can, you know, chill or whatever they need to do. So let me get this color maybe. We'll get our nice bed back in there. All right, let's right click all these beds here and let's go get the blocks for them. I'll right click the door as well because I'd like to get that built up too. So over here, we could grab everything. Yeah, wow, we had just enough inventory space to grab it all. So there's our door. We're gonna have to turn it on here so it can open. Here we go. Here's one of our beds, another bed, a third bed. Dare I say a fourth bed? One right there. All right, very nice. So we have room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guards to sleep at the same time. And since they're guards, they'd probably rotate. So we wouldn't have all of them sleeping at once. We'd just have a couple of them sleeping and then they'd rotate positions and you know, do their own thing. But yeah, there's our little guard room. It's still got the light from this thing, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and close that. That is now set up perfectly. So let's do the prison over here. So we have this little prison cell. And I think what we could do, let's renovate this a little bit. In fact, I think what we'll do instead of having these is we'll have proper doors, but we're gonna use the lab door. I think that's gonna work a little bit better. So which way does it go? Probably doesn't matter. All right, we weren't able to grab everything, but we can grab some of the stuff. And I think this is gonna work a little bit better because they actually close instead of what was there before. So there we go. And let's get the other two in here as well. All right, close that one and close this one. So we do still have a prison available for anyone who misbehaves. You know, if you come into this area and you're carrying obviously a bunch of explosives, then you'd want to go into the prison and that would be kept in one of these things. And I think that was the goal for these, is that they were little contraband areas. And I've since moved most of the stuff as well into our main grid. So you'll see that a lot of the stuff that was on here off camera, I moved this stuff into the main grid. So yeah, you'll see some med components, some uranium, stuff like this, just random stuff that we had lying around. All right, just gonna go ahead and paint everything the same color here. Yep, this is all gonna look good. And I can come back through and paint a little bit of this a different color. But for now, we just want it all to be the same color. But yeah, all these things I will come back and paint into a darker color. I think probably this up there and that down there are gonna be painted into a darker color. The turrets, for instance, I would like to be red. So let me go through and get that. So let's get our red color here. And we'll get a different armor as well. Let's get, I don't think we want battered. Actually, battered looks good on the turrets. So let's get a battered. And then for the stuff down here, I do like a battered look, but I would like it to be a little darker if possible. So let me take this color right here and make this darker. There we go. That's kind of what I like. Oh, that one's damaged. So let's go ahead and rebuild that. Right click, grab the remaining stuff and rebuild. Perfect. A nice battered look. And that's kind of what I was going for as well for these. I would like these to have a nice battered look as well as the darker color. This, I don't know, we might repair this. There we go. I think that's pretty good. That adds a little bit of contrast as well between these. And I'll probably do the same for the equipment down there. Give that the nice battered look. So let's say this equipment right here is going to have this battered look because it's been used. This is not like the first time this equipment will be used. And then all these like metal colors as well. I'll take these and make these the nice battered look. Maybe even the entrance, I think. And then also these, because I like the battered look instead of the normal paint color. And let's do the windows as well. Why not? All right. All in all, I think that looks pretty good. We could even do the same with some of these signs to give them a nice little contrast as well. But other than that, I think this is a very nice setup for this room. I'll do the same actually for, if I go up here, these. Let's give these a darker color as well. And I'll probably do the same on the other side. If I was scrapping this base, by the way, these particular pipework blocks have so many large steel tubes, 10 large steel tubes per, plus 20 construction components. These are really valuable blocks. We're not going to scrap this base though. I know I had mentioned that we might scrap some of it, but I think we're not going to scrap it. Maybe we will scrap some of it if there are areas we don't need, but I think most of it is going to stay as a normal base. All right, let's continue into the base to try and get the rest of this built out nicely. So yeah, here we definitely need some lights. We have some flickering lights. If I make these not flicker, then they will be good. Are they named? Just corner light. Okay. All these corner lights. Yeah, okay. Well, what I need to do then is I need to go in here. I need to go to our control panel, find all these corner. Yeah, so these are all of our corner lights. We're gonna name these main hallway light. I like to keep corner in the name just in case. So main hall, corner light, and then we'll name a group right there. We'll keep the same color. I think the color's fine. I don't think I need to change anything, but I will maneuver these a little bit just so that they... Energy's critical. Just so that they adjust a little bit. The intensity is fine, I think. And then what we want to do is do the blink length to 0 and the blink offset and the blink interval to 0. So now they're all on. Okay, so none of them are flickering. Very good. Turret, you're up and running. I would like to paint all these to red. And you might be thinking to yourself, here, I'm out here making all these turrets, like building them back up. Wasn't the whole purpose of this encounter that the turrets kind of messed up the people who were here originally? Yeah, but we're gonna make sure that our security system's better, I guess. I don't know. Why is it so bright down here? Maybe I had a corner light down here that lit up the whole area. Anyway, let's go through and I'm gonna do a shift. We're out of energy. Okay, well, we know where one of our little refill stations is right here. And you lose energy so quickly. Well, the whole point of this base was that it was supposed to be pressurized. We have multiple doors, right? And then there's doors over here as well. Yeah, multiple doors. So let's go ahead and turn these on. And we'll see if we can get the base pressurized so I don't have to be constantly dying, essentially. Yeah, we do have vents over here. This right here would not be pressurizable. There we go. Okay, yeah, so that's not pressurizable because that is a caved-in area. But this as well would not be pressurizable. What we can do, though, is we can put a door here and say authorized personnel only or something. I think that would make sense. Like, if you have a big invasion like this and you're rebuilding the base, you'd probably just put a door in here and lock it or something like that. So we'll go ahead and lock that door. Boom. Okay, what else is not pressurized? If we have this would not be pressurized, actually, this whole area. So down here, I'm just gonna seal this off for now. We'll probably rebuild some stuff down here eventually, but for now, we're just gonna seal it off to try and pressurize the entire base so that we don't have to worry about dying of lack of oxygen. So all this stuff right here, we'll just seal. That's fine. Just close these doors. And then over here, we'll do the same. Just close these doors for now, and then later we'll come down here and check on it. All right, the base should not be pressurizable. Unless there's a giant hole over here, which there is. So let's fix that real quick. I think, what were you? I don't know what you were, honestly. All right, toss this right here, and that should make the base pressurizable. So let's close these doors over here and see if that is the case. Actually, no, that won't be the case because we have doors up top as well. But if we close these, then maybe the base will be pressurizable. There shouldn't be any more holes, but there could absolutely be somewhere. Let me check these guys. Are these guys on? They are. Found leak, path rendered. Okay, let's see. I don't believe you. So what I think I'm gonna do is right here, I'm gonna throw a vent because I don't think we have many vents on this base. We do have a couple in that room, but I don't know that we have a lot of them. So let me grab this nice new vent right here. Position it like this. Let's go ahead and build that up. Perfect. And then I'm gonna remove these. What I wanna do instead though is add something at least to kind of, well, that wouldn't work, would it? Do something like that. I don't know, this ends up looking a little weird like this, but this has a leak, so let's go ahead and render that, see if it positions it. So it's going, where is it? What? Where is that? Is it this, basically? I think it might be getting through these blocks right here, but no, because these blocks end right there. So how is it ending up over here? It could be because of these? I don't know why we have pipework blocks here, honestly. Let's go ahead and remove those. Instead of the pipeworks blocks, we're just gonna put some normal interior blocks here, and I think that'll fit a little bit better. But also, it should fix our leak. Let's see. No, it's still saying there's a leak, but I don't know how it's getting there. No, now it's saying it's going... Oh, it's going under there. Okay, well, instead of that, then, we'll just do a normal conveyor junction. How about that? I like them apples. Oh, here we go. Now we have a new one. All right. What's that? Little Timmy stuck in the well? Where are we going? Where are we going? Over here. Inset bed is not built up. Okay, now it is. No more leaks. Okay, can you pressurize the room? Oh, it's pressurizing. We have low oxygen. Very nice. All right. Okay, we only have one vent working on this task, so that's why we have such low oxygen here. But what I can do is remove this and maybe add like a second vent. I think that'd be a good idea. There we go. We now have two vents working in conjunction with each other, and they're going to get us some nice pressurization. We could get more vents even. Oh, I lost the sound of my welder, but that's fine. Here we go. Nope. Can I not get the blocks for this? Build planner empty. Okay, let's unempty my build planner. There we go. We now have some vents over here, and I wonder if I would love to get some vents over here. I just don't know. It would be tricky. We'd need to route this underground. But I think it'd be a good idea if we can, right here, if we can get some sort of thing. So let's try and do that. We have low stuff, so maybe right here we'll put a refill station. Okay, just mirroring the other side, we're gonna have vent right there. Then the other side doesn't have a refill station here. Maybe we should put one, but we're gonna put a refill station right here. So right about here, we're gonna put the nice full block refill station, like so. Some blocks here for this. This is gonna be good because we're running out of stuff right now even, so let's go ahead and use this to refill our power. I love the refill station. I've said this in a couple videos already, but the refill station is so nice, allowing you to use the full power of a med bay to refill your energy. Actually, we did actually have a med bay right there, so I didn't have to go crazy with the refill station. But what I want to do now is, I think, actually this wouldn't be that bad if we just go under here. Yeah, we have a conveyor right there, so we're just gonna bring this all the way over. So we're gonna use these blocks and we're gonna face them down. And let's start bringing them over. On the bright side, we did just refill our power, so it'll probably go slower now because we're in an oxygenated area, which is very good for power consumption. You use a lot less power that way. So let's put that way, and that should go up to the top like that. We're gonna right click you, and we're gonna grab ourselves a terminal as well. So cargo terminal right here. Love myself a cargo terminal. And let's go ahead and put that right there. And so that connects right to this. We can move our cargo terminal around like that. And suddenly, bam, we have a cargo terminal on this side now too. So we have vents, we have a cargo terminal, need bulletproof glass for what? For this? Okay, well we can probably do that. Do we need more bulletproof glass, or are we good now for bulletproof glass? No, we need 4, or we need 6 over here. Yeah. We kind of did jump the gun a little bit. We were going area by area, but I wanted to pressurize it, so that's kind of why we went over to this side to get this thing pressurized. So let's go all the way back up to where we were over here, and let's continue working on this area, which shouldn't be too difficult. I'm just gonna paint all this stuff a nice color, and then we'll be good. I'm just doing my shift paint here. It's gonna paint everything. It's not gonna paint everything on the grid. It's just gonna paint everything here. So I'm gonna need to repaint my weapon there. but it's gotten all the stuff on the side here as well. And I can do the same over here. If I go to the top one and shift repaint, oh man, that's gonna take the paint color of the floor. That's fine, we'll repaint this. It'll be okay. I'm just gonna grab this and paint all this right here. Perfect, okay. Now let's go grab our blue. And I'd like to paint back my stairs, the nice blue color that they had. Okay, bring this around. And the blue kind of gives you a nice direction. It's like, oh, where do I go once I've entered the station? I don't know where all the trade stuff is. Well, just follow a blue line. That'll bring you out to the maintenance area, and this will bring you down to the trade station. Go ahead and repaint our weapons red. I don't like how this looks, but what I think I might be able to do, not with corridors, but with these, I don't want a red one. Let me go to one of my other colors here, like this color. I'm just gonna copy what we have there. I think what I can do is use one of these. This might look a little bit better. I don't know if it will look a little bit better. I mean, it'll look a little bit better. I don't think it's gonna look great, but let's try it. That, and then that. It looks a little bit better because we no longer have that just kind of floating there. And this kind of is its own little alcove now. So I don't know. Maybe we keep it like that. Maybe that's fine. What I really wish we had though is a block like this, but it's filled in on the bottom. So you can go up and then you have it filled in. I think that'd be a really cool thing if they had like a block like this, but it has options. Not like separate blocks, but if a block had like a configuration, like I could go to this and say, fill in the bottom and it would do it. I think that'd be cool. Just different configurations for block. Can I actually enter this? No, okay, not from there. All right, this area is looking pretty good other than the fact that we have a light on the other side that's shining through, but lights on this side are pretty good. I think I'm gonna keep these lights as emergency lights, so if I need to turn them on, it's easy to just boop, boom, they're on. I wonder if I can actually hit these blocks from here. Oh my gosh, this mod lets you hit this is the paint gun mod. This lets you hit blocks in between these. That's crazy. Wow, I love that. That's so cool. Okay, well that's given us this nice little area painted. Very good. And then over here, don't necessarily like this. So I think we're gonna remove this and remove this. And again, I don't know why we have Pipeworks blocks here. That makes no sense. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the sci-fi interior wall and we're gonna use this side because I think this side is gonna look the best for this. If it's all kind of the same shape. So let's start building up a couple of these. We're gonna need a lot of blocks from our terminal, but let's get this done. And I think we're already a pretty good way through the base. We've got this area here. Although I don't know what I'm gonna do about here because this is technically just like a caved in area. There's nothing really behind that. So I don't know what we'll do there. All right, naturally, I think the next place we should go is going to be the Armory. So let's start working on this, giving it a nice new paint job here. And I think we are gonna just go in here and do a shift click, maybe on this block. Try and get most of this. And this might actually paint some of the stuff over here because it might be too close. Yeah, it did paint a little bit of this. That's fine though. We can go back through here and grab a little bit of that. And that did uncover the fact that some of these are broken. So I'll go ahead and weld these up. Because this is where the gunfights did happen. We were fighting Armageddon pirate dudes right here. So, of course, a little bit of that got in there. Okay, so I don't think we have an easy way to grab materials in there, which is probably fine. We can just run all the way back out here. But I'd like to get this weapon back up and running. Just kind of defending the armory here. All right, and then right here, I'm thinking I might go with another lab door. Another Labrador. Okay, let's grab that. Let's put that in right here. Right click you and we'll build you up. I don't know, does that fit very well? Wish we had kind of like one of these doors, a graded catwalk door or something like that we could use, but it's fine. I think that's not bad. Okay, we're gonna keep this room mostly how it is, but I am gonna paint the weapon right here and I think everything else is gonna be fine. So this room does have kind of like a red blue glow, but I think color-wise, this is probably pretty good. Okay, so we're good with this room right here. This room over here is gonna completely vent our oxygen. So what we're gonna do, I think is there stuff in here still? There's a little bit of gold. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. And then this room altogether, I don't think there's anything behind here. I think it's literally just a facade room for the encounter. So what we're gonna do then is we're gonna grab a normal color and we're gonna put something right here. And then we'll go ahead and lock the door so no one can get in there. And perfect. All right. Man, without your flashlight, look at this. It's very red over here. Oh, we still have lights that flicker on and off. Very nice. So moving down to the trade area right here, I'm gonna go ahead and remove some of these things that had fallen over, these railings. And let's remove this as well. We'll go ahead and put that back up. Yeah, some of these chairless desks had fallen over. But let's get the railings back in place because I do like having the railings. So we'll get a railing maybe right here. Were they on the outside? Yeah, they were. I think we'll have a railing right here, and I think that's fine. We only need that one railing. That'll be okay. And then the desks here. All right. And here are the desks. Very good. Or I should say the dining tables, because these are technically dining tables here. And then everything in the kitchen I think is fine. There's nothing wrong with the kitchen. But over here, this is in a better state now, I think. Let's just give this a nice repaint here. So we'll grab our paint tool for this one, and we're gonna get our nice color, which is this one. Make sure to go with our clean armor, and then let's go ahead and repaint some of this. Give this a nice new paint job. Man, I need to do this in real life. I've got a room I need to paint. It's just so much easier in Space Engineers. You've got a jetpack, it takes half a second. You can even shift click if you didn't want to do too much of the work. But in real life, you gotta get out the paint roller and then, you know, get up on a ladder. Man, I wish life was just Space Engineers and you just had a jetpack. You could build a ship to do it for you if you wanted to. I don't know. All right, this is looking pretty good. I like how this is. We need to set up that light so that it's not flickering. Actually, we need to grab all of our inset lights and do that. So let's go here. I should restock this with Clang Cola. Wait, this is actually distributing Clang Colas. Oh, very cool. I didn't know that. Inset lights. Oh gosh, I don't know which inset lights are the ones. All right, well, what I could do then, this is inset light 17. What are you? Inset light 18. What about you guys? 16, 15, 14. So 14 through 18 are the ones here. I don't know about number 19, but I'm gonna go ahead and call these trade hall inset. And all I wanna do is turn their blink length and blink interval all the way down, and then they should be nice and lit up. There we go. Oh, that's looking clean. A little bit too clean. It's almost eerie how clean it is over here, but yeah, okay, perfect. There we go. Give this a nice new wood finish. I think that starts looking pretty nice. Then we have the kitchen back here, which maybe I'll give this a nice wood finish as well. So there's a little bit of color back here. Honestly though, pretty good. I like it. Okay, so the trade hall is looking good. Maybe I can give these stores a wood finish as well, just to make them look nice. Same with the little trade, or the little med bay back here. Oh, what are you? Why are you not? Oh, this guy was off. Okay, that's why. And this guy I think is also off. So when I was making the scenario, some of the lights I turned off, and some of the lights I set to like have a nice little flicker to them, which I think looks good. One light, by the way, in Space Engineers, lights, making them flicker is a little bit interesting, because if you only make one light flicker, it's very static, right? It's got a flicker. You can't really set a random flicker interval. You just kind of have to set like, hey, flicker every 2 seconds for half that time or something like that. But you can make it look kind of random if you do like multiple lights that way and tell them to flicker, you know, rarely. So give them 10 seconds and tell them to flicker for 1 second in those 10 seconds. And then if you set a bunch of lights up like that, it'll actually look a little bit more random. If you start, you know, they'll go off at different times. And even though they're not random, they're on like their own timer. It looks like, you know, this flickers, it waits a little bit, this flickers, then suddenly this, you know, because they're all on their own different timers. So you can of course set them to do random if you have a script, but doing it in vanilla, that's the easiest way that I found. All right, let's get our server room done. This is gonna be the hard one, I think. So this right here, we'll go ahead and right click and let's get some blocks for this. Actually, this should let me. Yep. And let's do our server room. Server room, of course, is not pressurized because it's got this little thing down here, which I think we're gonna completely block up. I think that makes sense. We wouldn't want to have this area here anymore, because that is, after all, where the enemies came from. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this as well. I had only added those so that I could make the hole a little bit more believable. All right, so the IT nerds, sorry if you're an IT nerd. I'm allowed to say that though, because I'm also an IT nerd. Well, I work in software development, which is not IT, but same line of work, more or less. The IT nerds get to have this nice wood flooring because as an IT nerd, we okay. I know someone in the comments gonna be like, technically you're not an IT, you're in software. As a software person, we do like nice things sometimes. We do like to have nice things in our dark area. And in fact, it's probably a good idea to not put any lights in here because a lot of the people who would be working in here would not probably like lights. Actually, they might like a little bit of dim light. This is very dark. Yeah, maybe I'll add like a dim light up here. All right, we want a really dim light in here so as not to hurt the IT people's eyes. Then we'll get a nice blue light, although that would be worse for the eyes, but still, we like a nice blue light. We'll get a nice larger radius, maybe up there. And presto, I think that's a nice dim light for this room. I think that's gonna look pretty good. All right, Purge Protocol. We don't wanna be in Purge Protocol. Purge Protocol is the bad protocol. So let's not do that. Let's go ahead and put this in a different protocol. The problem is I think the script is made to start on Purge Protocol whenever it starts. Yeah, okay, so when the script actually starts, it does set it in Purge Protocol just specifically for the scenario, but we can change this. I'm gonna change this to safe color here real quick. We'll check that code right there. And now when I recompile this, let's see, recompile, run. There we go, system nominal. Okay, and if you enter something like the order 66 code, which is 3066. Was it not 3066? Was this something else? Oh, I'm dumb. There's a bug in my code. Okay, this is the bug right here. If you're into coding, this might be interesting. If you're not, this is not interesting. But what I did is I used code length, which is the length that code should be when I'm looping through my valid key codes, instead of using the valid key codes.length, which would have made more sense because then I would have been checking all the valid key codes. So I'm actually only checking 4 of the valid key codes up here. So I'll be checking 3001, 3002, 3003, and 30. Those are the same. Oh, my comment is wrong. 3044. But I would not be checking this one right here because I'm using the code length instead of the array.length. Okay, that's a bug in my code. And you know what? All this happened because I created this entire thing really early in the year before, and I wanted to get this set up before I started the series. So I was really kind of rushing to get all this set up. Hence the reason that there are bugs in the code, of course. Okay, anyway, yeah, that's our system right there. Purge Protocol no longer works, guys, so there we go. Can never happen again. But we can always reset if we do 3001, that should turn it off. System reset failure. Oh, okay, well, that's probably a part of the code that I set up. Anyway, I don't remember everything that I did last year. But okay, anyway, in order to get this blocked up, what we're gonna need to do is put a block in here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I think we're still missing some area. No, we're not. Okay, it is refilling. Perfect. Okay, honestly, I think this is pretty good. The only thing we might be missing is a couple of seats here for our developers. So let's get, can I get one that has a computer on it? This is pretty good. Actually, you know what? I think this is gonna make some sense. Unfortunately, we're going to depressurize the entire base, but that's fine. All right, I've expanded this area a tiny bit, and let's go ahead and get the paint colors here as well. We'll use Control-Click for all this. I'm gonna need to put that in right there as well. But I've expanded this area a little bit because what I wanna do is add in a couple of computer desks here. So we'll add in maybe one right, how do we wanna set this up? Let's grab some blocks here real quick. We're gonna run all the way back out here where we have some block things that we can grab. Now let's go back in here. We wanna set up these little desks. So I'm gonna put one right here and I'll put one right here. We'll only have 2, and I think that's fine. So these will be our little developer desks. All right, perfect. And then this is of course where it comes in that we probably don't wanna add a crazy amount of light here because developers don't like light, but we are gonna add some light. All right, so here we go. This little room I've added is a nice little room for our IT professionals to, do some work or whatever they need to do in this area. I've added a light to protect their eyes, which is very good to have, but for all the IT professionals out there, you'll appreciate this. I also added a button to turn off the light in case that is warranted. So this is why I use, there we go. Yeah, okay, so you can have the light be completely off, which is very dark, or you can have the light be on. You can imagine a little IT dude working on their stuff. And then we have this gigantic server room, which I think would make any IT professional blush. But anyways, yes, this is looking good. The other thing I want to do actually is grab my paint gun and let me make sure that all of these are nice and painted. Those are not looking painted. This is also grabbing the sci-fi panel, so I don't think we'll be able to paint this one. This is having a little trouble getting to it, but these we should be able to paint very nicely. There we go. Everything looks a little bit better with a nice fresh coat of paint. And let me grab my battered look as well as my darker color, and let me go through. Maybe I'll give this I think that actually looks a little better. I'll do that for that, and then maybe some of our servers I'll give a nice, like a separate color for. I think will look good. And then same with these. I don't know, something like this. I think that looks fine. Maybe have a darker hallway like that. And then all this stuff, this is, we're gonna have to undamage this. I don't know, are some of these lights flickering? I'm gonna check on them real quick to see if, yeah, they are flickering. But this one actually has a blink length of 95. So let me turn my blink interval all the way down. There we go, now they are constantly on, which I think looks a little bit better. All right, this room is done. Let's move on to the next area. So that's going to be, we have this done. That's gonna be this area. Now this is gonna be the harder area because this is the rooms that we need to get fixed up. So I guess let's start with out here, and then we'll slowly work on the rooms. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with that currently, but we can at least get some of these built up with some steel plates. There we go. We'll go over to this guy and get these a nice new coat of paint, which we're gonna be using the clean armor for. A lot of these might be damaged because we did have a big firefight here. So if it's damaged, we'll just have to paint it up and then get it weld it up, then get it repainted. So stuff like this, yeah, that's damaged. I can go ahead and fix that up. All right, that's looking good for this entrance area. And I think we're gonna start with the easier of the two sides, which is going to be this side right here. So we'll start by removing these freights that were here for barricades. And then we'll go ahead and open this door. So unlock that, open that up. That's not pressurized, but that's fine. We'll work on that. Get these freights out of here, and we'll put these inside here. Okay, and then we'll start getting this room repressurized. So where is it unpressurized is the question. I don't know where. Chairless desk we can take. This desk we can take. As well as some of this stuff. Yeah, we have stuff in that one. We're gonna have to put that, deposit that in one of these. You know, I bet you that bed is probably where we're depressurized. I'll go ahead and open this one as well because this one is also part of the same room technically. Did I not grab stuff for that? All right, that should be us repressurized. Just gonna take a second to get back up there. Making sure none of this has anything in it. This is, of course, where a couple of our engineers had their last stand, fighting off against the dudes. They had barricaded this door, and the other dudes had exploded an entrance in here, and they had their last stand over there. All right, let's put this back, and let's get to painting. So we want to start painting. Actually, a lot of this is still in need of repair, I think. Not too much of it, but some of it for sure. Let's go ahead and... I'm almost out of paint, actually, so let me go in here and grab some paint. Paint is very, very weightless in this, so it's very nice. By the way, this was fun, trying to find a convincing way to build like a reasonable hole in here to show that the red engineers had kind of like ground through this. It was fun to try and figure this out, but I think this ended up looking pretty decent, having this right here. I really wanted to try and find a way to make like a smaller hole, but I don't think you'd be able to get through it if I did, so that ended up working out pretty well. Okay, let's keep our paint gun firing. Almost got this entire room looking nice. I'll need to repaint it with some nicer colors and stuff. And then of course this right here, I'll go ahead and remove. And then right here, I think maybe I grab my paint gun here for this. So let's get this room as well while we're at it. I think I'm just gonna end up using a corridor corner for this right here, just so it will it'll fit nicely. And then on this side, it's just a normal wall, but on this side, it should be a nice corridor corner going into the restroom, which, you know, honestly, we'll add a door. There you go. Now you have a door to go into the restroom and no one can see you unless they're like really up against that door. All right, this is looking good. Let's get this bed done. All right, I'm gonna throw a door in right here for the bathroom. I think it looks pretty nice. And then we could even throw a door in. This is kind of like the penthouse room. We could even throw a door in right here if we wanted to have a door to the beds. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm not sure about the flooring, but I think it's probably fine. It's because some of these are heavy armor and some of these are light armor. I guess I can remove the heavy armor and replace it with light armor. That would make it look a little better. All right, there we go. Yeah, that does end up looking a little better. It's a little weird along the sides here. I think this is all heavy, right? Yeah, this is all heavy, but I think this ends up looking like a pretty nice room. All right, let's move on. So this entire side is looking good now. If we look down this, yeah, it's looking good. Does it need light? No, honestly, not really. I don't know where the light's coming from. maybe inside the rooms or above even. But let's move on to this side right here and get this side looking good. So already on this side, right, we have some rooms that need a little bit of work. Let's go ahead and grab the bed stuff here. Get that built up. There we go. And let's get our paint gun out here. All right, I think that room's pretty good. Just a little bit of paint on it made it look pretty nice. We'll go ahead and close that one and move on to this next one down here, which this one is unfortunately not pressurized. But that shouldn't be too difficult to make pressurized. In fact, that might even do it. Yeah, that's done it. That's made it pressurized. So let's go ahead and right click. Do I have the stuff for this? Oh, I do have the stuff for this. Very nice. Okay. All right, the flooring's put in, so let's go ahead and get our paint out. And we don't need to paint the floors. We just need to paint the everything else to a nice clean color. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't think there's a light. Oh, there is a light in here, actually. Okay, I'll get that light working a little bit better in a second. Very nice. All right, that's looking good. And then this is without a partner, so we need to get another desk in here. All right, one last room, and it is pressurized. So that's good. We'll go ahead and turn the light to not flicker. There we go. And it's fine if the blink length is something that's not 0, but there we go. And let's go ahead and turn the intensity up to 2.5, like the other one. And the same with this one. This one's probably... Oh, it's not off. I thought it was off. Okay. Intensity goes to 2.5 again. Perfect. Okay. So, this one, what do we need to fix, first of all? I don't think we need to fix anything. I think everything's perfectly fine here. All right, well, in that case, it's very easy. All we need to do is put a nice fresh coat of paint on everything, and we should be good. Last thing we need to do is get wood in here, and then do that guy. But other than that, this is looking good. Maybe I'll get nice wood tables here too, I don't know. But yeah, this room's looking good, I like it. All right, perfect. That's all of our rooms done. Let me go ahead and put these blocks back here real quick as well. And there we go. Suddenly this entire hallway is looking very nice. We have both hallways done now, looking very clean, very nice. Oh, hang on, a straggler. A straggler has appeared. Here we go, and let's get these guys as well. Perfect. Okay, no more stragglers, right? Yes, I think we're good. All right, maybe I'll paint the bookcase, I don't know. If it looks good that color. All right, this is looking like a pretty nice space. The only thing we have left to do then would be all the way over here, and that would be over there in that little maintenance area, which would allow people to come and land here and stuff like that. All right, everybody, we're going outside into the depths that are this area. So this is just like kind of a, well, there's two things. So this is, the top area right here is like a landing bay, which we need to get in ship shape. Once we have the landing bay done, the primary area, so this is all personnel only, like when someone lands here, they need to go this way basically, and then come around to the front where they'll get to the front entrance. So that's how they get to the port. But this area is for the maintenance people to use. Now we need to do a lot of repairs on this, and I'm starting to think this episode might end up becoming only working on the base and getting it up in ship shape, so that we can accept people. And hopefully by next episode, we'll actually have like some civilians walking around here or something like that. So let me start this by getting a little bit of steel plates. I think that's going to be a good start. We're going to go ahead and grab a normal block here, and then we're going to grab our clean armor. And we're going to run through here and make sure that all this is welded up, because we're going to need a lot of welding work on this after we use the explosives basically on this stuff. Okay, so all this stuff we're going to need to weld up before we can paint. There we go, we have that turret back up and running, and this turret we should probably be able to get back up and running as well. We'll right click that, and then run over here, and boom, we have a nice turret up and running. All right, so for this entire area, we're pretty much just using a concrete look. Why? Oh, that's probably the turret that's underneath. We're using a concrete look for this stuff, and that mostly works out pretty well. So right here, for instance, these interior walls we'll put concrete on, and I think that's going to be okay. Same for these. We'll go ahead and paint these guys the same concrete look. All right, I'm gonna go through and paint the roof of this as well as everything that I can in this nice concrete color. And all this stuff I still need to transfer to the grid system, because currently it's not on the grid system, it's just in these little boxes. So we won't be able to access it from any of our stuff basically. Try and aim on that one. That one's a little tough to aim at. There we go, we're able to get it. Nice. And then For the walls, maybe I won't do concrete. I don't know, but for the floors, I do want to have the concrete because I think it looks pretty good. All right, all of that is now concrete. And what I'll do as well for the rest of it is do the nice clean look. So let's get the nice clean armor for the walls. We're running a little bit low on energy, so I'm gonna put a little refill station right here. Since I love having my refill stations, and whoever's working in this area would need refill stations as well. So there we go, and let's continue painting. Just have this whole area to paint here, with a nice new coat of paint. And we're getting to a pretty good state. I really like how this is turning out. All right, we're getting through it slowly but surely. We should have most of the area painted now. I'm just getting this ceiling done here real quick. A little bit more down this way. But that's looking pretty good. All right, we'll get a little bit of this too. Blocks damaged. I beg to differ in just 1 second. I beg to differ. Boom, there we go. All right, this is looking pretty good. What I'll do here is I will go ahead and turn off the rotating light because we no longer need it. How are we doing on lights over here? Not many lights over here. Okay, so it'd be a good idea to get some lights in here then. Let's do maybe, yeah, we can fit one right here, I think. All right, let's use our favorite inset lights. We need 4 of them, so let's go ahead and get these positioned right here. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Now, since these are gonna be in this kind of maintenance area, we're gonna give these a nice orangish color. And I guess, do I wanna add more even? Well, we're gonna start with 4 and see how that looks. So those are all right there, perfect. Let's run through here, grab our inset light. We'll get our most recent ones here. And I'm not gonna give them a group. I keep giving everything groups. I don't need to. There's no reason to group them until we actually need to group them. So let's give this kind of an orangish look, maybe something like that. Maybe a little dark. Give it an increased radius, but a low intensity. Maybe like 2. And then suddenly, bam. Now you have this kind of orange area where when you come in here, hopefully you can't see it from the other side here. Let me check. Go in here. You can see it a little bit up at the top, but it's fine. At least you'll know you're coming into this area. Okay, so let's grab our clean armor and clean this up a little bit, but I think we're pretty good here. Turn on my light so we can see normally. And we're good. I'm not gonna put that other turret back right now. I think it's fine not having a turret right there. But okay, let's move up to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and paint things still. I do really like the yellow paint that's right here, so I'm gonna keep it. But I'd like to give a little bit of a nice clean paint to the main landing area. I think that'd be a good idea. Man, I'm really getting through my paint here. I mean, we have tons of paint, but I'm using a lot of it. Bring this down right there. All right, I think this is pretty good. Let's repair these turrets right here so they can do their job if needed. So let's go here, build these guys up. Very good, okay. And then I'd like to paint this also yellow. I really like the whatever we're using here, so let me go ahead and grab that. And we're gonna paint this nice path right here yellow, all the way around to the other side. I think this was originally yellow, but it became unyellow when we were painting a bunch of the other stuff. So there we go. All right. Okay, so at this point, most of the base has a new look. Not all of it. Some of it's still showing scars, which I'll go ahead and paint. And I'll paint as I see it. But we're pretty much to the point where the base is looking good. Now, I could have easily just, you know, Control-Shift painted everything on the base, but I didn't really want to do that. And in hindsight, maybe I should have, but I think this is a nicer way to do it. Just run around and, you know, repair everything as needed. Paint everything. All right, there we go. So the base does still have a couple scars, you know, places that I haven't yet painted, but everything is looking nice, painted, and oh, that's not red anymore. Let me keep that its nice little red color. Battered red, very good. Let's go inside here. This is now nice and lit up as well, so that's very good. Our weapon should have the nice red color. This does not at the moment. So yeah, some of the stuff still needs maybe a little bit of work, but I think it's all in all looking pretty good. One thing I want to do, the final thing I want to do, I think, is add an antenna on this base so that we can get people to start coming in. And hopefully by the next episode, we'll have people coming in to the base to check it out. So let me put this stuff back. Let me grab an antenna. We're gonna go with the compact antenna, I think. We're gonna throw our antenna on maybe one of these things right here. I think that would work out because it's a pretty nice and high up place. The only thing is it's gonna take a couple trips to get to, but I should be able to get it out of here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we just need to grab the radio components, which is gonna take the most time because they're very, very heavy. All right, radio components. There we go. We now have a compact antenna on this base. So let me go in here and make sure the base is named something nice. So currently it's called Armageddon Shipyard. We don't want that. We don't want that to be the name. We would like this to be the new trade. Actually, we'll take off the corp because we don't know if Trade Corp's gonna come back and try and you know, have this place, but at least for now, let's go into control panel. We'll show the ship name and we'll broadcast at a range of, well, let's broadcast at maybe 20,000. So if you're 20,000 away, you'll see the new trade HQ and you'll hopefully want to come in here. Now, lockdown initiated. Let's go ahead and change this to something a little different. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Traders welcome. Nice. And then we still have Trade Corp right here. We could change this to Trade HQ if we want to, or we'll keep it Trade Corp right now as a reminder of what it used to be. But yeah, we have the signal out there. Hopefully we'll have traders start to come in here and maybe they'll even set up shop and we'll be able to actually trade at this little place. But after this episode, so next episode, what we'll end up doing is working on the AMG Snowstorm, getting it to a decent state so that we can take it out. And hopefully the episode after this, we'll start exploring the solar system in the Snowstorm. So next episode, expect a Snowstorm building episode. And then after that, we'll be good to go. All right, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just a big building episode on the on this Trade HQ base, but it's in a good state, and I really like a lot of the things that we've done here. We've made it work out pretty well. I think we need to bring out a little bit of ice, maybe even, so it can become a refueling outpost. It's all set up to be a refueling outpost, but it just needs the ice. So if we find an ice asteroid nearby, maybe we can go and grab that. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please go ahead and hit the like button, put your comments and your suggestions down below in the comments section. If you're not subscribed yet, the subscribe button is right down there. And if you click it, you'll get notifications for when videos go live and stuff like that. If you'd like to become a YouTube member or a patron, there are links below in the description for each of those, where you'll get your name in the end credits right here. You'll get early access to videos. And in some cases, you may even get a shout out at the end of the video. So for the higher tiers that get shout outs, let's go with Iron Helix, Silent Contender, and WTC 2014. Thank you very much for your support, and thanks to everyone who's watching these for your support as well. It really does mean a lot, and I appreciate you being here. I'll see you guys in the next episode of Space Engineers Survival.